Hello and welcome back to our next video in our series on Excel Draw version 5. In the previous video we covered the advanced object creation tools right here. In this video I'm going to be covering the graphing options. The first thing that I would like to look at in this video is called the Drawing Manager. And inside the Drawing Manager, if you open that up, you will be greeted with a new window, which is right here, that has all of your drawings inside of it, or all of your objects in it. You can use this window to select individual elements, such as if you want to select this, you want to know what that is actually an arc that is somewhere hidden back behind there. Let's try to find something a little bit easier to see, like for instance a circle. If we select that, you can see that it's the first circle, and we can go down through here and select multiple ones, or we can select a whole bunch of them, like for instance all those. You can see whichever ones are selected. You can also see the cell that they are associated with down here, as well as them being selected over to the side. So what can you do with this? Well, if you would like to just select one object, like for instance this object, and just say you don't like that circle, you want to delete that object, hit delete object, and that circle is now gone. We no longer have that circle available. Or let's just say that this arc is incorrect, or you want to remove that whole section of arcs. All you have to do is hit delete range, and then all of those data points are now gone. They are completely gone. You don't have any of those arcs available anymore. Okay, well, what else can you do with this? You can also see what kind of objects are available in here. Now, I will be getting more into this later whenever we get in depth with the programming and things like that and automations. But using this, you can see what sheet it is associated with. You can also see what type of object it is. For instance, A is an arc, C is a circle, and if you scroll down you can see that there's L for a line, points, rectangles. You can also see if it has Z values enabled for the Z, if it's an absolute or if it's a relevant, and what the layer number that it is currently on. So you can see that this is layer 0, while at the very top the arc that we have selected here are layer 1. So what happens if you want to change this layer? Well, all you have to do is select whichever layer you want to change it to. For instance, I want that arc to now be at layer 4, and I can change that layer. And as you can see, we now have an arc that is on layer 4. Well, what if you only want to show one layer? You can just select show that layer. And then I can go in and just select that. And as you can see, I only have that object available. I can also go up here and go to layer 2. It only shows layer 2 objects, which is right here. And so on and so forth. So what if you want to show all of the objects? If you show all objects, it is not just going to show you the objects that are on your current page. If you select this, it's actually going to show you all of the objects on every single page that you have available. Now, obviously, you can't see all of them. This is mainly there in case you have references that are linking to other pages and things like that. You can show all of the objects and manage them at once if you need to, but most of the time you will want to have this option turned off. Okay, so that was the Drawing Manager. Next, if you ever need to refresh the graph, say it locks up and you don't see an updated picture, all you have to do is hit Generate Graph. And doing so will regenerate the graph for you and repopulate everything, setting it all back to its default setting with the correct orientation that you previously had on there. And the last feature that I'd like to look at in this video is called the graph orientation. Now, this has also been combined inside the graph itself, which I will get to in a minute. But the graph orientation is the availability to rotate this graph in 3 dimensions, however you'd like to do that. There's also a few other added features right down here, which if you notice the default grid that we have in the background that Excel normally has, you can turn that off by clicking or deselecting the grid. You can also have the added option of adding axis arms, so you can see exactly in what direction you are looking at your drawing. If you'd like to take that a step further, you can also add in a ground layer, and the ground layer will also show you in what direction you are looking at. So the zoom is pretty straightforward. It is this little slider right here. Zoom it closer to the negative to zoom out, closer to the plus to zoom in. And as you can see, we also have a nice little graphic down here that will show you exactly how much you are zoomed into it in relation to everything else. The rotations up at the top are also fairly simple. X, Y, Z rotation at different axes. And then you can have your custom origins down here. The auto origin will automatically assign it to wherever the default center of your entire drawing is. You can do a custom origin, or you can have the origin be at 0, 0. You can also have the panning options right here where you can pan up and pan down. And finally is the line size. You can select how small you want your lines to be in the drawing, or how large you want them to be. By default, Excel Draw is set to 2 on this, but you can change that down to 1 if it suits your preferences. So what about the rotations inside of the graph itself? Well, this was added in Excel Draw version 5. If you click down with the left click on the graph itself and drag in a direction, it will automatically rotate for you in whatever rotation that you are sending it. Let's rotate this up. It's pretty straightforward as far as the rotation and the angles. There are a few little key shortcuts. For instance, if you want to send this right back to the default location of a bird's eye view looking down at it, you hold Control and you click on the graph with your left click, and that will set it back to a default setting. If you would like to zoom into your graph, you can hold the Alt button or the Alt key and then click and drag up. That will zoom out, and click and drag down, and that will zoom in. You can also hold Shift to pan. So if you hold Shift and drag in one direction, it will pan in that direction for you. This works for up and down. And if you pan it way off to the side like that, all you have to do is hit Control and click, and it'll take it right back to the center. Okay, that is all of the graphing options for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'm going to be covering all of the features inside of Excel Draw version 5 in the next few weeks. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of great tech videos and releases. Thank you all very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.